The sun had not yet touched the horizon when we began our journey into the heart of the African continent. There is a specific kind of silence that exists only in the high-altitude rainforests of the Virunga Mountains. A silence that feels heavy, ancient, and thick with the secrets of a world that existed long before humans learned to walk upright. This is the realm of the mountain gorilla, a creature that has lived in the collective imagination of humanity as both a terrifying beast and a gentle kin. To reach them, one must cross more than just geographical borders. One must leave behind the frantic pace of modern life and enter a cathedral of green, where every step is a struggle and every breath is a reminder of our own fragility. The air is cool, saturated with the scent of damp earth and decaying vegetation, a primal perfume that signals the beginning of an odyssey into the unknown. The logistics of such an expedition are daunting. We find ourselves at the edge of the Volcanoes National Park, a place where the volcanic soil is so fertile that the greenery seems to explode from the ground. Our team is led by trackers who have spent decades navigating these vertical jungles. They don't use GPS or maps. They read the forest like a book. A snapped twig, a specific pattern of flattened moss, or the faint, musky scent of a primate. These are the letters of a language we're only beginning to understand. The physical toll of the trek starts to manifest within the first hour. The slopes are steep, often reaching angles that require us to crawl on all fours, grabbing onto roots and vines for support. This is the impenetrable forest, and it earns its name with every stinging nettle that pierces our clothing and every muddy patch that threatens to steal our boots. As we climb higher, the vegetation changes. We move through bamboo forests where the light filters down in golden shafts, creating a surreal, cinematic atmosphere. This is the gorilla's favorite pantry. Bamboo shoots are a delicacy for them, providing much-needed hydration and nutrients. The trackers explain that a silverback can consume up to 30 kilograms of vegetation in a single day. Their lives are governed by the search for food, a constant, slow-motion migration through their territory. They are the gardeners of the forest, their feeding habits helping to prune the jungle and disperse seeds, ensuring the cycle of life continues. It is a symbiotic relationship that has remained unchanged for millennia, a delicate balance that is now under constant threat from the encroaching world of men. The history of our relationship with the gorilla is one of tragic misunderstanding. For centuries, they were depicted in Western literature as monsters, the King Kong archetype of a violent, chest-beating brute. It wasn't until the pioneering work of George Schaller and later Dian Fossey that the truth began to emerge. Fossey lived among these mountains for 18 years, defying the elements and the political instability of the region to protect what she called her gorillas. She was the first to realize that they are intensely social, peaceful, and highly intelligent beings. Her sacrifice, ending in her unsolved murder, became the catalyst for the modern conservation movement. Today, we walk in her footsteps, benefiting from the habituation process she started, which allows humans to sit in the presence of these giants without triggering a defensive response. Suddenly, the lead tracker stops and gestures for us to drop our bags. The tension in the air is palpable. He makes a low, guttural belch sound, a vocalization that translates to, "We are friends, we mean no harm." From the thicket ahead, a response comes, a similar deep rumble that vibrates in our very chests. We move forward slowly, and there he is, the silverback. Nothing prepares you for the sheer scale of a dominant male mountain gorilla. He is a mountain of black fur and silver-gray muscle, sitting with a quiet dignity that demands immediate respect. His hands, with their massive knuckles and human-like nails, are incredibly dexterous as he meticulously strips the bark from a branch. He looks at us, not with aggression, but with a weary, ancient intelligence. In that gaze, the 98% of DNA we share feels like an understatement. Around the silverback, the rest of the troop begins to appear. There are several adult females, their eyes soft and watchful, and a collection of juveniles who seem to have no regard for the solemnity of the moment. Two youngsters are wrestling in the ferns, tumbling over each other and emitting soft chuckles. One of them stops, looks at our camera, and beats his chest in a miniature version of his father's display. A performance of bravado that ends with him losing his balance and falling backward. It is a scene of domestic bliss that could be found in any human household. The mothers are attentive, constantly grooming their infants, picking out debris from their fur with a tenderness that is deeply moving. They communicate with a variety of sounds, hoots of excitement, whimpers of distress, and the deep grunts of contentment. The biological complexity of the gorilla is a marvel of evolution. Their digestive systems are built to process massive amounts of fibrous plant matter, essentially making them giant, walking fermentation vats. Their strength is legendary. A silverback is estimated to be 10 times stronger than a professional human weightlifter, yet they use this power with incredible restraint. Aggression within the group is rare and usually settled with vocalizations or bluff charges rather than actual physical violence. They are a society built on cooperation and hierarchy, led by a patriarch who must be both a protector and a diplomat. The silverback's role is not just to lead, but to decide when the group eats, where they sleep, and how they respond to external threats. However, the shadow of extinction is never far away. The mountain gorilla is a conservation-dependent species. Unlike their cousins in the lowlands, they cannot survive in captivity. Every individual we see in the wild is vital to the survival of the entire subspecies. The threats are manifold. Habitat loss due to the expansion of agriculture, the risk of human diseases like respiratory infections, or even the common cold, and the lingering threat of poaching. While gorillas are rarely the primary target of poachers today, they often fall victim to snares set for antelopes or bushmeat. The effort to protect them is a multinational endeavor involving rangers who risk their lives daily. In the Virunga National Park alone, over 200 rangers have been killed in the line of duty, defending the park from rebel groups and illegal hunters. The economic reality of conservation is also a key part of the story. The guerrilla tourism model is one of the most successful examples of sustainable travel in the world. The high cost of trekking permits is not just about exclusivity. It is a direct investment in the survival of the species. The revenue pays for the salaries of the rangers, the veterinarians of the guerrilla doctors team, and perhaps most importantly, it funds community projects. In the villages surrounding the park, guerrilla money has built schools, water tanks, and clinics. This has transformed the local perception of the forest. Where once the park was seen as a barrier to survival, it is now seen as a source of prosperity. The poachers of yesterday have become the protectors of today, recognizing that a living gorilla is a far more valuable asset than a dead one. As our allotted hour draws to a close, a heavy mist begins to descend from the volcanic peaks, wrapping the forest in a white shroud. It is time to leave. The silverback rises, his massive frame silhouetted against the fog. He gives a final glancing look in our direction before leading his family deeper into the thicket. Watching them disappear into the green is a bittersweet experience. We return to our world of screens, concrete and noise, but we leave a piece of our hearts behind in the mist. The experience of being in the presence of a mountain gorilla is more than just a wildlife encounter. It is a spiritual homecoming. It forces us to confront our place in the natural world and reminds us that we are not the masters of the earth, but merely one branch of a magnificent, sprawling family tree. The descent is faster, but our minds are slow to process what we have seen. We talk in hushed tones about the infant who touched a leaf near our feet, or the way the silverback sighed as he settled into his daybed. These are stories we will tell for the rest of our lives. But beyond the personal thrill, there is a broader message. The story of the mountain gorilla is a testament to what humanity can achieve when we choose compassion over consumption. It is a story of hope in an age of ecological despair. If we can save a species that was on the very brink of disappearing, we can save so much more. The gorillas are still there, high in the clouds, breathing the cold air of the volcanoes. As long as they endure, there is a chance for the wild places of the world to heal.